Looking at everything that comes in the box here, you'll notice that there is quite a few different parts that you need to put together. Don't be scared. It's not really that big of a deal. We'll go through it all here as we put it together, as well as there's an easy to follow manual. I also noticed that there was 2 wheels shoved up under the Jeep. Those were zip tied, and they were the rear wheels, not the front wheels, and they were zip tied to the steering rack. Okay, so starting assembly on this, I flipped it over and put the side steps on. This is the first thing you need to do. There are 3 push tabs that lock into place. These need a little bit more effort and force than I thought, and they click into place. Then on the bottom side, there are 2 screw holes into the body, and you screw these to the body. Once they're in place, then you flip the car back over and you have the fenders. The fenders also snap into place, and they have 2 alignment pins on each of them. These fenders do screw into the step for stability. Now it's time for the bull bar. This bull bar just pushes and clicks into place. It's that easy. Now the steering rack. It already has the nylon locking nuts and washers on the steering rack. You'll need to remove those. And then you'll need to grab the suspension springs. They're those 2 little springs that are found with the hubs of the wheels. The springs go between the steering rack and the frame. And then also there is this 1 bar that goes across and connects the 2 wheels together. So when you're going to steer, it steers both of them at the same time. When you put this in, you want to also place this over the steering neck as well so that the steering wheel will be able to actually control the wheels. Putting the front wheels on is the next thing you need to do. The front wheels get a washer. You put that on first, you slide the wheel on, then you get another washer, and then you get a nylon nut. Tighten the nut until it's tight. Not too tight, but not loose. Tight enough that the wheel doesn't wobble, but also not too tight where it doesn't spin very freely. Then you have the hubcap that you put on, a little end cap, and it just snaps into place. Moving on to the rear, you have 3 axle mounts. You'll need to screw these into the body. The left and the right one each have 6 screws, and the middle one gets 3 screws. Slide the axle in, and then you're ready to install the motors and the rear wheels. The motor slides into the axle, and then you can stuff those wires into the holes that you see here, and you'll connect those underneath the seat. The motor itself goes into the open space in the black mount, and it'll just kind of hold into place. Now, you can tighten the rear wheel on. This time, the rear wheel goes on no washer first, but it goes on by itself, and then it gets a washer, and then a nylon nut. The wheel will lock into place, and the inset into the white motor plastic. I did use a pair of pliers to help from keeping the axle spinning while I was tightening the nylon nuts on. Now it's time to reinstall the doors as they just slide into place, and then you can put the mirror mounts on. Each mirror mount gets 2 screws. Once they are installed, the mirrors can be pushed into place. They're just little like dowel rods. On the steering wheel, it has a bolt that's already connected with a nut through the actual steering wheel itself. The steering neck has a hole for this bolt to go through, so you're going to have to loosen the bolt and then put the steering wheel on and line it with the hole in the steering neck, and then put that bolt through and tighten it up. The nut will fall out if you let it, but just go ahead and put it back in, and it locks it in place. Now moving on to the under the seat, we need to plug in 3 things here. You plug in the white to white connector, the red to red connector, and in this case, blue to white. The 3 wires pretty much, then the connectors they need to go to are right there. If they have to be stretched, then they're not going in the right place. You're basically connecting each motor to the actual controller and then the battery to the controller itself. Now you can put the seat on. The backrest slides down and it gets 2 screws to hold it in place. Then the seat gets put in, it slides under the rear seat rest and gets 2 screws to hold it in place. Now we can move on to the light bar brackets. There are 2 mounts that go on each side, or at least 1 on each side. And they just push into place each, and they're labeled left and right. And that means the right and left while you're looking at the windshield. So you push those into place and they'll click in there, and then you're ready for the light bar, and it just slides into place like the bull bar. Now, last thing you have to do is slide the windshield in and clicks into place as well pretty easily. Go ahead and charge this thing up,